content. So welcome to How to Win High Value Deals. My name is Ren Sagil. We still have 2 minutes to go, but we'll really start at the top of the hour. I'll have this recorded. I'll send it over to you. And, while we're waiting, within that 2 minutes, if you're able, I know someone was driving, so thank you for letting me know. But if you can put on the chat. Oh, by the way, I have my team Ruth on the chat as well. Please let me know where you're calling from. How many years have you been in B2B sales? And also keen to understand what's your role? Are you an account manager, account director, doing BDR, inside sales? Would be really keen to understand that one. All right. And also, normally I would do a workshop, but I'm finding that, because this is a public webinar, it's harder to be more open. Hi, Ren, you want us to post in the chat or is there a poll? Oh, thank you, Lot. No, just on the chat, please. Thank you. Thanks for the question. And sorry for the vague instruction. Yeah. Just post in the chat. We will do a poll later on, but that's just one question to have some fun, but really interested, Lot. I hope I pronounced that well. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah. So thank you for being here. Let's go. It's very jam-packed. We only have 30 minutes, and I really want, hey, Bill, I really want
Hey,
us to kick it off because I practiced yesterday, BDM, fresh produce industry, but looking to change jobs. Awesome. Now's the right time, Alun. And I was practicing yesterday and I couldn't fit it for 30 minutes. So we might miss one framework. All right. So let's kick it off. Let's go. Okay, let me just clear the chat. Yeah, so a little bit about me, but I would still ask you, put in the chat your sales role, where are you based, how many years in B2B sales, and I'll keep looking at it. So my name is Ren Sagil. I've been in the tech industry for 27 years across Philippines. I am from the Philippines. I was born in the Philippines. I'm now in New Zealand. Very lucky to work with multinational, able to travel for work. I've worked in Australia, New Zealand, Asia Pacific. I was the generation that built the mobile network. So when I started my career, we were building 2G, 3G, and now it's 4G and 5G, right? Hi, Sophie, Darius, and Ben. Welcome. And it's just a massive change maker now that we're talking about AI. So that's me. And what do I do now? I am a fractional sales leader. What is fractional? Everyone always asks me. Well, I work as a sales leader in a fractional capacity for 3 companies at the moment. And I'm also, my favorite job though is being a sales coach, a sales strategy coach. So I run a cohort on Maven. It's a US platform called Elite Sales Athlete. So please give me around 3 minutes at the end of this webinar to talk to you more about it. But today, I want you to step back a bit. And because there's different B2B sales models, I want us to step back a bit and really understand this different B2B sales models, right? So the first one is the need. Is the product, solution, or services, whatever you're offering, an express need that they know it, they understand it, our clients know it, or is it a latent need, which is it's an untapped, they don't actually know that they need it or want it, right? And the second one is it a short cycle or is it a long cycle? It can be like you can finish a conversation with a client and sign a contract in 2 weeks, or it can be 12 months or even 2 years for very big infrastructure solutions and complex ones. And are you working with someone who's just a single decision maker, or is it multiple stakeholders? I had a client once. He was selling a software application for crypto to banks, and he thinks that the only decision maker is the CEO. And I said, no, because you need to talk to the integrators at the back end. How is the marketing, the salespeople going to sell that? So you got to think, who are the stakeholders within that account? And then is it a short relationship or a long relationship? Because are you able to retain that client for a year, 2 years, 3 years? Are you able to upsell and cross sell? So if everything is on this right side for you, you're dealing with high value, complex deals, right? And have an appreciation of your role that it is not simple and you need strategy, sales process, and the right behavior to succeed. So I want to ask, what's your biggest challenge in sales, right? So I will show a. Let's hope this is gonna be successful. Um, yep. Am I showing the right slide? What is your biggest challenge in B2B sales?
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
are.
Thank you, Bill. So if you get your phone and scan the QR code, and then you'll be able to type in your biggest challenge in sales. And then it's going to show. Don't worry, your name will not show. It's going to remain anonymous. That's why we're not going to put it in the chat. Hi, Mick. Welcome from Minnesota. Represent. Thank you, my friend. So it should come up. Um, I'm gonna practice as well if it's coming up because I don't see any at the moment. Oh, one response. Oh, prospecting. Okay. All right. Discovery. Yep. Process. Awesome. Lead time from prospect to, I'm guessing, to the time you close it. I think it inhibits you, right? All right. Keep it coming. Okay. Conversion. Love it. Conversion. Getting the right ideal client profile. Awesome. Okay. So today, we're not focusing on prospecting. Today, we're focusing on you got that meeting, how to initiate that conversation during the sales process, and really being able to convert your conversation up to the time that your client is actually collaborating with you. Okay, thank you. So let's change that again. Let me just share my screen. Okay. I'm still sharing, right? Cool. So the title of the webinar is How to Win High Value Deals, right? Big, big, big ask. And the reality is we need to be a trusted advisor. And I know it's a bit fluffy. Don't worry. We're going to break it down into pieces. And we're also going to talk about how to have that conversation. We go to the details. So that's why I was saying, like, we might not be able to finish everything. Um, so do you agree we need to become trusted advisor? And the reality is sales has been a fear-based fear-based relationship, right? Our clients are like, oh my God, you're not going to sell, Ren, don't talk to me. You're not going to sell me something that I don't want. Unfortunately, because, there's a lot of hard selling that's happening. And one of my purpose in life is to really uplift the sales profession and become a trusted advisor, like doctors, right? You go to a doctor, you don't tell your patient what to do, right? You ask questions. And that's where we have to be. And I just wanted to share with you this very interesting article from Sales Navigator. I think it was a week ago. They were saying that when buyers switch companies, they still buy 50% of them, or 54% of them buy from their existing suppliers. And if the salesperson change companies, they're going to buy from that same, same salesperson, which means they will actually change vendors. And why am I talking about this? As salespeople, we work for companies, but at the end of the day, we need to make the right decision with ethos. And we have to have integrity, right? And we can only do that if we give the right solutions to our clients. Now, how to become a trusted advisor? It's a bit fluffy, but we'll break it down. So, in the early stage of our client relationship, we become tactical solution providers. What does it mean? Well, they have a problem, they need your technical expertise, and we talk about problems and solution, right? Ren, I just need you to solve this problem. Just solve it. Give me that solution. That's how, unfortunately, in the early stage of the relationship works. And because of that, we don't have a lot of strategy and tools around us, and just very unconscious sales behaviors. You don't prepare for your meetings, and you don't really know how to, create a strategic account plan. But as you grow, your relationship adapts, and you need to move from a tactical solution provider to a strategic supplier. What does a strategic supplier mean? So aside from technical expertise, you're now talking about business outcomes, and you're talking about not only about problems and solutions, but you're talking about their known challenges. Like, I have a problem now, but I know in 3 years from now, I'm going to reach the limit of my network, and we got to plan for it. Or I'm on a platform. Sorry, I talk about technical details, like in the food processing, right? Like if you're providing equipments, they know that old equipment will run out in 5 years. We got to talk about that. They talk about to you something that they know in advance. And at this point, you'll have more consistent, more sales behaviors, but it's quite inconsistent. And there will be some process and tools that you have, and you're going to strategize with them. But the holy grail really is to become a trusted advisor, which means you now provide transformational and technical expertise and outcomes. And the very critical part here is they want to talk to you about not only problems and solutions and known challenges, but they want to talk to you about something that they don't know. I'll give you an example. AI is everywhere, right? So a lot of companies want to evolve, and they don't want to be left behind. So a lot of my clients, like I had a conversation with one big telco, they formed a group to do AI. They don't know how AI will impact their business. So at this early stage, they formed that group. If you're a supplier of this company, you need to be part of this, conversation, and they build that unknown with them. And so a lot of the solutions that come out will be part of your solution. So then you become a trusted advisor, right? And to become a trusted advisor, you need to have sales strategies. You have to have a account playbook. You need to have a stakeholder mapping, and you have to have consistent sales behaviors. Like, you plan out your meeting, and then you go to a meeting and suddenly you're a bit lost because there's so many characters talking. I don't know if you've been in that conversation. And then at the end of the meeting, you walk away and go like, damn, I didn't accomplish anything in that meeting because there's no structure, right? And then you have these odd characters coming in. So how do we address this, right? That's the thing. You need to have this sales strategy and that framework, which we will discuss. Also, when I talk to my clients, I want to ask them, hey, what are the most common mistakes sales professionals make, right? So interestingly, this is what they say. And you can, I'm guilty as well. Talking too much, that's me sometimes. So I have to zip my mouth, right? Focusing on price, not value. I mean, we're always scared that, oh, might be too high, but really it's talking about what is it valuable to them. We're gonna get into that. Pitching before understanding your client is not ready. Not listening to the client, what the client want. I've been in a situation that I know what the client need, but they didn't want to buy what they need. They want to buy what they want. And it's interesting because the solution is the same. You just package it differently into what they want to hear. Wasting clients' time and our own time because they're really not qualified. And then presenting the solution, even if the client is not committed. Like at the end of the day, the selling part itself happens from the beginning. You don't sell with a proposal. It has to be a collaborative solution, and you talking together like, okay, we're going to present the solution, and you're already like 80% closing the deal, and then not understanding the political landscape and how clients make decision, right? So those are some of the mistakes they say that we normally do. So that's good to know. And so why do you need to learn these frameworks? This is, bear with me, this is the last explanation. So we need to practice empathy and build trust with our client. And when you talk about building trust, it's so fluffy, right? So we're gonna break it down today. And when you have this framework, your clients look at you at a different light. You're credible, you provide thought leadership, you're not pushy, you're not hard selling. You provide value to your client because at the end of the meeting, you make them think and increase your win rate. That's what we want, right? So the first framework that we're gonna work on is to Okay, I want to give an emphasis. So we need to create an honest and open environment with our client. Why? I'll give you an example. When you do a research in your client, you already know that they have a problem sometimes. If they've made a bad decision before of buying a platform or a solution, you need to give them a way out, right? If I'm the CTO, I'm not going to tell you, Sophie, I made a bad mistake of buying this solution. Help me. I'm not going to say that. They're not going to admit that, right? But we need to make them feel that we actually understand them, and we will, let's work together. Let's work together, Bill, to change the situation and solve your problem. And it has to be collaborative because they're working on some guardrails as well, especially if it's a big company. And so the idea is create that trust and have a collaborative approach and develop a business case together. All good? Okay. Cool, thank you. So there's actually 4 frameworks that I wanted to share, and this is the tip of the iceberg, right? I don't think we're gonna cover everything. I think we're gonna go until investment framework, but I will send you. There's a workbook, by the way. Ruth, if you could put it on the chat. So in the workbook, all of this framework are there in the workbook, and you can work on it on your own. So what are the 3 elements in qualifying high value deals? So the first one is, what is the project or the opportunity, right? What is it about? And then we will break it down. And what are the resources? Sometimes you only look at financial, it's 3, it's people, time, and money. And the decision process. It's not who makes the decision, is how. How does this organization make decisions? Then once you know that, do you actually proceed and spend all your time building a proposal? Or do you say, you know what, this is not the time to focus on this opportunity. They're not going to need it in the next 6 to 12 months. I will keep close to them. But as salespeople, you guys have quota, right? You need to be credible in your own business that when you say you're going to close this X million of dollars within this months, you need to close it. And if it's not in forecast, then you can say because of all of this information. Then if it is, you have all of those 3 things, let's go. Provide that solution and give them those results, and you're going to win the deal. A lot of my students, they always ask me, Ren, you need to help me more about how to negotiate and how to handle objections. We can still talk about that, but the reality is, if you've done a really, really good job on the opportunity, resources, and decision, you don't need to worry about objections because you've handled it very early in the process, right? And I'm really excited because there's some very key conversations here. So 5 steps on how to qualify, right? First, don't jump to selling a solution. Get out all the issues. By the way, we will break this down. Prioritize the issues because they're going to tell you 10 different things. And when you talk to a client that's really panicking, they're going to tell you everything, and there's no framework around their thinking. You're going to help them clarify their thinking and articulate it. Then gather, does that exist? Does that problem exist? And what is the impact if they don't solve it? That itself will trigger that action for them to take action. Because I don't know with your experience, but with my experience, I don't normally lose an account. I would lose it to inaction. Clients will not make a decision. That's the biggest problem that I would normally have. And then explore, what are the content and constraints? Why didn't they make an action before? Like, for example, someone told me like, oh, I have a problem with my CRM. And then 6 months down the road, they don't have a problem with their CRM. Their salespeople are not using the CRM. So you've wasted those 6 months of time. So how do you not jump into selling a solution? And sometimes it's really difficult, right? So when your client talks to you and they go like, hey, Ben, give me this solution. They already have a solution in mind. They haven't even know what the problem is, right? Don't accept it, because you need to understand, well, what are the things that you're trying to solve? What are the problems? What are the results that you want? Or they tell you, give me a solution. No, you need to understand first, what are the challenges and the pain? And then if you move away and take time to understand those, then you have to mutually collaborate. Oh, okay, we've understood that that's your challenge. How do we make this work together? Remember, you're always getting micro commitments. Do not progress until you haven't gotten that micro commitment. And as a salesperson, even for me, sometimes I get scared because, like, oh, I might lose this opportunity. But the reality is we haven't lost anything because we haven't won anything. And it's in the early stage. We're gonna waste so much time if we don't know it at the very beginning. So, how do we do this? Emotional intelligence, really understanding our client, listening, and asking effective questions. I also spoke about a business hypothesis. So, when you speak to a client, let's not ask them what keeps you awake at night, right? If they're a public company, look at their annual report. If not, you'll get so much information on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, and their website, and have a business hypothesis on what to talk about and align yourself in that conversation. You need to have awareness and choice when you talk to them. So, how do we do it? No guessing. If you have if you've assumed in your head you have a problem with cybersecurity, well, don't guess. Ask about the problem. And in coaching, when you talk about problems, you go deeper. Like, get all the details as specific as you want. Like, if you can get specific numbers. And if it's a result, like an objective they want, oh, we wanna sell more. Well, what does success look like? Is it winning three key accounts, or is it generating 300% revenue? So the question is more on the upper side. And so mutual collaboration means you don't jump to a solution, you listen, you do an EQ statement, and you redirect the question. This is how you're going to do it. So we're going to cut it down. So let's just say a client say, hey, Darius, I've always seen your company as a provider of, let's say you're an insurance company, as a provider of my insurance and construction, something like that. Tell me what you have to offer in cybersecurity insurance. As a salesperson, the first thing we're gonna do is like, this is my cybersecurity solutions, right? It's just so easy to get into the trap. So let's use the dealer. Great. I love talking about our capabilities, Ren. But in order for me to focus on those that are relevant to your situation, what are the most important business issues you're trying to address? I actually saw in your annual stockholders report that you had the cybersecurity issues 6 months ago. I'm just inventing, right? But align it to what you saw here. And then they will say, and then you go now into the details. Or if they want a result, you say, I would love to, but I don't want to waste your time because we have like 50 solutions, right? But if you share with me what are the top business priorities you want to achieve next year, or whatever timeline they want, what would you put in the list? And you can go first three or the top one. Are we good? Cool. You know what? You can use ChatGPT to do this. Like, I haven't done it, but maybe you can use ChatGPT with like answer with a don't jump, listen, EQ statement. I actually haven't done it because this is a very old, very old script of mine. And another example, oh my God, this is the best. Someone would come to me when I was in Ruckus, like we're a Wi-Fi company. Oh my God, Ren, I heard that you have a really great Wi-Fi. Give me a proposal and let's run a trial next month. I don't even know what the project is, right? Like, seriously. So you go like, okay, that's great. We're interested. And we have a few customers the same as you. Let's say they're a hotel or a hospitality, right? I'm curious, what do you want in your specific situation? I read in the news that you're building a new hotel in Tonga, right? How many rooms do you have there? Now you're kind of building a very specific opportunity. It's not very broad. And the problem with doing a demo and a trial, I don't know if you've experienced this, they forget about it. Like, they do a trial and never come back. You know why? Because it's our own. Like, we didn't put a commitment for them. We didn't structure that conversation on how to progress. And then if they want some results, say, what do you want to achieve with a trial? Very simple. What do you want to achieve? They go like, oh, I just want to see if it works in 2 bedrooms. Oh, okay. When it works in 2 bedrooms, what happens? Are you going to design the whole hotel? Are you going to make a test? Then now you can talk about pricing, right? So then once they share the issues with you, you just share, oh, okay, your Wi-Fi is not working, or your vendor is not working, and what are the other problems that you're having with them. And you can use all of this information and validate and confirm. Because when you create that proposal, you will need all of this information to make it your value proposition. That's where you're going to use it, right? We're not going to cover that here, but that's how you will use all of this data. Then they're going to give you all of these problems, but 80% of the time, the first two to three, the first problem, the second problem that they will say the most important, will actually solve all the problems that they have. So focus on that top one or top two problem once you prioritize the issue. Now, this is the fun part. Okay, they told you, yeah, okay, we have a problem, but you need to understand what's the evidence that your organization actually understand that the problem exists. Because sometimes the people that we're talking to, they know the problem, but the whole organization doesn't really know the problem, and you're never gonna get that approval, right? So you need to monetize the issues and it will help you. So what are the hard issues? Is it sales, cost, customer churn? And soft issues, is it market awareness, right? I'll give you a little story. I think I have time. When I was working for a Wi-Fi company, we were pitching to this big telco, and you can see this Wi-Fi all over New Zealand. That was my product before. The first time I pitched to them, I said, we have the best outdoor Wi-Fi. You can create a nationwide Wi-Fi. Didn't get any traction. And then we realized they were kind of late with their 4G network rollout and they don't want to lose market awareness. So the same solution in a different proposal: create a community Wi-Fi, give 1 gigabit of Wi-Fi free for every mobile connections that you have. Because now you understand the soft issues and then you get traction. So sometimes it's more than the technical. You have to get to those what matters to them, what do they want. And this can help you with the 5 golden questions. I think this is also, thank you, thanks Billy, Darius. Okay, it's going to be on the link. Awesome. Great questions, uncover motivations, exactly, desires and pain points. In the world of AI, we go back to human, right? What does the human really needs to want? And as salespeople, that's where we're gonna be more on the complex sales, more of this conversations. So once you've established that, okay, the problem exists, so where is the evidence, right? And it's easier for a business case to happen. And then the last one is, how do you explore content and constraints? Okay, I'll just step back a bit, right? So one example that I would say is ask them questions like, okay, this problem has been happening for 2 years now. Why hasn't it been addressed? All those questions. I had this experience that we've run a business case and we told the CEO, you are going to save $10 million. And the CEO just still didn't make a decision because you know what? He has 3 other projects that cost $300 million. So in the scheme of things, I don't matter. And it's good to know now because they're going to spend 2 years or a year supporting them and it's not going to happen. And by the time that happens, then the solution is old. So understanding what the constraints, what the context, because people buy what they want, not what they need, right? So this is quite fun. Everything that I've explained, I've kept in this slide. All right. So bear with me. So first, don't talk about the solution. What's the problem? And or result, either or. And what's the evidence that that exists? Sometimes the person that you're talking to has it. Great. But what if that person doesn't have it? Have you been in that situation? Oh, I don't really know all the information. So it means either you're talking to the wrong person or, yeah, you're talking to the right person, but he doesn't have all the information. And so who has it? Can a person you're speaking to help you? Okay, nobody knows it. Can we build it together? Do you need some help? Now, here you're going to get stuck, right? Unless you get a buy-in and a micro commitment to work together, this is really an opportunity that you should not progress because there's no evidence that problem exists. And then you work with the context and constraints as I've explained, right? So that's the kind of a like very fast of how to qualify an opportunity with those parameters. And then the next one is how do you talk about, thanks Avesh, awesome, thank you. Now, how do you talk about the difficult part, right? The money. When do you start talking about the financial investment? Can you please just put in the chat? Do you start during the proposal stage? Do you start like how do you start if you can? So in the investment framework, there's three parts, right? So you have to qualify the resources that they have. And it's not only money. Oops, sorry. It's not only money. It's actually time. Ask them for a budget. Yeah, yes. Yes, Darius. Once you've qualified the impact to the business, yeah. So when do they need this, right? Is it now? Is it next year? Is it in the future? That is really key because you need to have your own forecast. And making decisions to the rollout is also different. People, there's too little of the client involvement, or do you need a lot of their involvement? And you need to ensure there are clear roles. Who's the person you're talking to? Who's going to lead the project? And then now the next time is money. Like as soon as you've qualified the opportunity, start talking about the investment. And asking questions like, yeah, exactly, Darius, have you established a budget? Have you built a business case? Have you thought about what investment you want, given that this is the scope of work already? Has it been approved? Those are the questions before any proposal. And no emailing of proposal, okay? Just you need to personally present proposal. Never email a proposal. All right. So, but the tricky part is our clients will always say, well, we don't have a budget. Just give me a proposal, right? Money's not a problem. Or the worst part is, I can't tell you. We're on RFP. That's like hate the most, right? We're on RFP. I can't tell you. Well, I don't really know. Well, the reality is we gotta get that right, or else we're in the wrong path. So I have this three-part response for money questions. So now let's say the scenario is, they know what they want, they're excited, this is the scope of work. The problem is there's an evidence and you've built a business case. All right. Well, but you can respond to them, you know what? I don't know how much this will cost you because we haven't done the costing, but in my head, I have a ballpark. Oops. Every client situation is unique. However, with other companies that we work on, they tend to invest between 140 to 160K, let's say, to give them a range. And then, can you see yourself falling in this range? So they now have to answer, right? So when they are not in, if they are in your range, let's go. Yes, yes, we're in your range. Okay. And then the next question is, okay, we're gonna create a proposal. Don't send it. Let's set a meeting on Tuesday. I want to walk you through it. Walk with them because you're gonna see little gremlins here and there and little niggly, and you have to refine that proposal, right? So let's just say they are not in your range, but they have a number in their head, or maybe they don't have a number in their head. You still don't know, right? Well, if they said, well, I have a number in my head, and then you give that number between 120 to 140, they would be like, oh my God, that's so high. Or they would be like, oh, I only have a budget for 100K this year. That's a good thing because it's a logistic issue. Yes, Lot? Oh, yes. Zoom, yes, but not in person. I agree. So whether it's a Zoom or in person, that's what I meant. Just don't email it because, people close the deal, right? Not the proposal. So logistics is a problem with their budget. There's that saying the investment is not worth it. They're just saying Exactly, Bill. Price is only an issue in the absence of value. They're just saying that it's beyond my budget, or I can only approve 100K and I need to get my boss to approve 120K. That's a logistic issue. The bigger problem is if it's a value issue, which is what you're talking about, Bill. Now, they think it's not worth it, or they think it's 50K. Because the belief is they don't believe that's the value of the solution. They don't see it will bring them any value at all. They do not believe what it will do for them, the impact, and they believe they can get it elsewhere for less, right? They've probably seen other proposals that's less. So the beauty about this is you know where you stand. Now, if it's a value issue, right? Your price is too high, when okay. Well, we already knew that it's not a logistic issue, it's a value issue. You got to slow down. Okay, I believe the results you want are achievable, but I don't think it's possible for this amount of investment. What do you think we should do? Ask them back. I can only spend 50K this year. We should do a phase-in approach, probably, if that's possible in your account. Or, so the client will help you resolve it, or client won't help you resolve it, and then you need to test them. Can they get the same result for less? Like you descope your offer. And I've done that with my clients. They go by face, they just want to test it first. The bigger problem is when they don't believe in the value of the results, or they don't believe in the value of your products and services, right? And that's the time when you need to resolve it. And unless you haven't resolved it, thank you, Avesh, you haven't resolved it, don't proceed with the proposal, because it's not going to happen, right? Or if they say just submit the proposal, you can even ask, okay, if I submit the proposal with a high price that you don't think you will approve, how do you think we can progress? It's rare to ask this question. And I just want to say, at this point of the sales process, you are not negotiating, you are validating if there is value for your client to work with you and your company. All right. Okay, so I only have 2 minutes, and the other one was the 3 key skills in the decision process that I wanted to cover. So the first one is really articulating and co-buying. You need to co-buy and get that micro commitment with your client. It cannot be one way. And gaining access to key stakeholders, aside from the person you're speaking to, who are the other people in the room? Or remember, we're talking about complex deals. And what is the decision criteria? How do they make decisions, right? So this is in the workbook, our clients buy, and there's just an example of what's in here. And so now I need 1 minute of your time to talk about the Elite Sales Athlete cohort. So I'm running the 6 live training sessions. If you think this is for you, have a think. We will run 6 live training sessions. There's going to be sales lab. If you've seen the role plays that we've done, we're going to do that as well. And because I already have 4 students in the class, 2 from the US, 1 from New Zealand, and another one from Asia, you'll have different people who you will work with. We will have a CXO fireside chat in graduation as well. There's a comprehensive playbook that you will finish by the time you finish the course. And I threw in for 12 months, we're going to do a monthly group coaching, because so this is the 5th cohort that I'm running. In the last 4 cohorts, they always come to me and they ask questions, and I realize they need more support. So we're going to do a monthly group coaching for the next 12 months, even after the 6 live cohort. So I think Ruth has shared the Maven access, and there's a 20% discount. Use friends 20 until May 28. The cohort is running on June 12th. So I'm gonna stop sharing there because I want to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know. I will send you more information about we'll send you for the recording of the webinar. Get access to the workbook, and we'll have another lightning lesson on Friday. The lightning lesson on Friday is about how to build your value proposition. So now that you have all of this information, how to build a value proposition. Awesome, Alun. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks, Karam. Thank you. Thanks, Darius. Where are you based, Darius? I'm just thinking of the awesome. Thank you of the time zone because the time zone is gonna be 9 o'clock, and we have U.S. students and New Zealand, Australia students. Unfortunately, hey Jane, there was someone from Asia. It's gonna be too early for them. I think it's gonna be like 5 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, everyone. And you'll hear from me. Thanks, Darius. Take care. Thank you, Marco. Value proposition, Marcus, is on Thursday. We'll send you an email. It's called Lightning Lesson. Hey, Levi. Levi, I'm going to invite you to the group coaching, okay? Awesome. So my old students, you have access to the group coaching. Thank you. Welcome. All right. Bye for now. Have a great day. Hey, Karam. Thank you. Hey, Ruth. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Rin.
How was it?
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. We really have to stick to like 30 minutes because the other one left at exactly
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's okay.
But I
Yeah.
feel like I like my presentation
You
better.
can stop recording now.
Ah, okay, stop recording.